This is Daf Yomi Yerushalmi Kilayim Kilayim. In the article Oz V'Hara edition, we are on Daf Sam Gimel Amud Aleph, 3 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Zira, which is 4 lines from the top. And in the Vilna, it is on the last 3 words on Lamed Beis Amud Beis. Yeah. Okay. So Rabbi Zira. Zira said Hadar Mara. This is the Gemara which you talked about just before. We're talking about Karam Gadol, which is planted on the with dimensions of Karam Cotton, meaning it's not 16 amos between the rows; it's 8 amos between the rows. Even though Karam Gadol, where the 3 rows and more, you can go up to 16 amos between the rows, it's still considered to be 1 Karam. But we're talking about Karam which is planted on Karam Gadol planted in rows which are 8 amos apart. So that means Karam Gadol should not al Shmona. Yesh lo machol. It has a machol. Why is that a chiddush? It has a machol? Because a machol Karam asks 12 amos at the side of the Karam, between the Karam and the wall. And the Karam itself here only has 8 amos between the rows, even though it's Karam Gadol. So how could an aser more than 8 amos? But we see, no, that's the case. In other words, a Karam Gadol, which is which from our Mishnah, we see that Karam Gadol, which we proved yesterday, it's about Karam Gadol, which is planted on the order of a Karam Cotton, that it has a Mochel Karam. So even though it's planted in rows which are 8 amos apart, since it could be planted, the rows are 16 amos apart, so therefore it makes a Mochel Karam of 12 amos at the sides. And that's why the Gra and Reb Chaim changed the Girsa from Keren Gadol Shana Shmona Shmona Ein La Machal to Keren Gadol Shana Shmona Shmona Yesh La Machal. Intem Ramata Sheshesrei. If you're going to say, because if you're going to say that it's planted in rows which are 16 amos apart, Toch Asur Umekadish. So then it's not a chiddush they have Machal Kerem. Inside the Kerem, you have 16 amos and still asers, even though there's 6 amos in the rows. So certainly outside the Karam, right, it's 12 amos should definitely be aser. When is a chiddush to say machla Karam, 12 amos aser? Only if within the Karam it's 8 amos apart, and outside the Karam it's 12 amos apart, right? Rabbi Yossi says, "Ain looking al ikar Karam." You only get malchus on stuff which is which Karam, which is in the ikar Karam. In other words, not in the machol, not in the churban, even though even though it's also to plant in these places. So nevertheless, you don't get malchus on the ikar Karam. So only on the ikar Karam. Reb Chaim wants to say that you only get Kilayim on malchus on the Kilayim within the Karam, but not in the Dal Amos around the Karam. And we find that inside, even though it might be 4 amos away from the tree, is chomer from outside it. So that's the case. You can say that a Karam, which has gaps of 16 amos between the rows, nevertheless outside and inside it's mekadesh. Nevertheless outside it's not mekadesh because the dot amos beyond the outer row is not mekadesh. And he says in the brackets here that the main parish in the sugya is from his father, the Slipers itself. It sounds like, according to this, that the Dawud Amos of Karam is only Rabban, and then we don't get Malchus. And that it says that in the Mishnah, that the Dawud Amos is Mekadesh, is even though it's Rabbanan, so they're Machmir that it's Mekadesh, but you don't get Malchus. Okay. So even though the 4 Amos outside the Karam is Mekadesh, well, just comes as Lou says, it's not, you don't get Malchus on it. I wrote on the side of my Gemara, it seems to be more pashut to say that Rabbi Yossi is a statement in and of itself, independent of everything we had before. He's saying that that even that which is Asr and Mekadesh, you're not liking on it, unless it's literally between the Kfanim. And in other words, yeah, the Adamus could be Daraisa. The Adamus on the Karen. But and it's Makadish. But the lav of planting Kilei Karen is, or Mekayim Kilei Karen, is only inside the Karen. In other words, Asa is up to 4 amos, Midaraisa. But you only get Malchus on the actual lav. It says in the Torah, Pentik Dasham Lea Mimenu. Lo Tizachar Karmacha Kilayim Pentik Dasham Lea Mimenu. The two parts of this pasuk. Lo Tizar Karmacha Kilayim and Pentik Dasham Lea Mimenu. So the Tikdash is within 4 amos. The Raisa. But Lo Tizar Karmacha Kilayim, that's specifically when you're planting in your Karmacha, within the Kerem, not in the Dal Amos around it. So I went to the Gemara. Halacha Gimel. Oh, you took your grapevines and put them over your friend's grain. I raised the kiddush b'chai. So you cause them to be aser barno, and you have to pay for them. You can't cause the kaddish here. Of course, means to aser. You can't aser something which is not yours. And therefore, even though it should be kilei kerem, because kilei kerem, it's not a botanical idea; it's always a maris ayin idea, or in this case, an idea which also links it to chayshim mishpat. You can't; they don't become aser. Rabbi Yosef said, "Ma'aseh bechad shezor's kamar Shvi." There's a certain person who planted his vineyard during Shemitah. V'ma'aseh livnei Rabbi Kiva, and this story came from Rabbi Kiva. Amar ein hamakdish davar she'eino shelo. During Shemitah, it's not his, and therefore it doesn't become aser ba'no. See, it says, don't plant your karam kilayim. Only al karmecha. Sounds like only your karam. Karam acher minayin. How you know karam of someone else? Now, this is the acher doesn't mean your neighbor. It means you're a non-Jew. I know now plant kilayim in a non-Jews non-Jews land. Tamaloma karam velo kilayim. So it says even though it says karmecha, nevertheless, that since the word karam and the word kilayim are juxtaposed, so therefore we learn you're not allowed to do it no matter what. It's a little bit difficult, but that's since it says it doesn't say karmecha lotiz or kilayim, right? But it says rather it says lotisa karmecha kilayim. So we learn it as if it is the chaf's not there. You know, karam of a non-Jew. Not great. I'm not highly pleased with that. Maybe we'll still give it a slightly different shot. Let's see. No, nothing here. Let's see the rest of it. It says gives us some shot here. Yes, he does. He says, "Tamar kerem lo kilayim." The sibah safe for the Quran. Says at the end of the pasuk, "Utfas hakerem." The lo ksiv kerem at the end of the pasuk. Rabbi kerem b'chomakom that includes the kerem anywhere. And if you kerem she'enu shelo also, the kerem it's not yours, the kerem which belongs to a non-Jew is also as well. So it's from the second word kerem. Okay, that helps. Amar Belezer said, the Remeir. It's going to Remeir that you're not allowed to plant kilayim even in non-Jews' property. The Meir Omar ain't goy kinim beretz Yisrael fotzim min ha'maisrus. A goy can't exempt land in Eretz Yisrael from meiser. Also can't exempt land in Eretz Yisrael from kilayim. Amar Rabbi Yochanan said divrei koli. So it goes to everybody. Dipata begoy shezar karmo kilayim. So about a goy who planted his own kerem with kilayim. V'locham imena Yisrael. And a Jew bought it from him. So even though it's not in the goy's property, it's now the Jew's property. So therefore, even though it was originally planted in the goy's property, but now it's the Jew's property, so therefore you over on it. Anyway, this no, I made right Mary. No, they say it's like right Mayor, meaning that they rejected this assumption that goes to the Bear Kol, and it's only going according to right Mayor, who says that the land of the non-Jew in Eretz Yisrael is Kaviyachol, not his land, but in Kinyan of the Goy Eretz Yisrael. Okay, and this brings us to the top of Samudal. therefore we can stop here for today. And well into Samach.